Welcome to LPB Racing. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and we hope you enjoy the content that you're about to see. LPB GT3 Sprint Series Round 4 Race 2 from Watkins Glen in the USA. Hi everyone, and welcome back to LPB Racing for the LPB GT3 Sprint Series on Project Cars 2. This is race 2 of round 4 of the championship here at Watkins Glen. So race 2, let's take you through the grid then for this one. So this one is the random grid, and it is Bert that has got pole position. Bert gets pole with Nifty Dark Ninja in second place in the Renault. Then we've got Woo Woo in third in the Acura. And then we've got Pash in fourth in the McLaren. TY's fifth in the Renault, hoping for a better race this time. We go further back, and we've got Blakeney there in 6th place as we go under the bridge. And then we've got 7th for Bidster. Neil is in 8th. Darren is in 9th. We've got Tim at the back in 10th, so he's going to have to fight his way through this time. And then Scott just round the corner there, just behind the Sunoco sign in 11th. So that's the grid, guys. Let's get on with the race then. Here we go at Watkins Glen. Race 2 is underway. Off we go down towards the first corner. Looks like a good start for Bert and everyone else trying to get down through the first corner. In we go through turn 1, and it looks like a nice neat start for most people so far. Blake gets a bit out of shape. Bidster looks for a way through. No way through is found. Bidster goes wide and Neil Farmack goes through on the inside up towards the chicane, and up we go. Tim now looking for a way past Bidster with the momentum on the outside, but can't quite do it. Down towards the chicane, Neil and Blake Neil alongside each other here. This might not end well. Here we go into the chicane. Neil goes through. Nice move there from Neil Farmack. Blake goes back down. Bidster and Tim alongside each other as well. Tim and Bidster alongside each other further back. Tim trying to go around the outside of the orange car on the inside, but Bidster keeps his nerve and keeps on the inside. But into the next corner, Tim should have the inside line, but no, Bidster breaks late and he holds his 8th place. A good start by everyone. And I was going to say a nice clean first lap, but Woo Woo's in the middle of the road and he gets hit. Everyone else goes off, and everyone trying to avoid each other, and I think Darren, someone else had an off as well. So, oh my word, it's all happened again as Woo Woo spins in the middle of the track. Who hit him? I think it's... Oh, Neil Farmack hit his own teammate. Neil Farmack in the Acura hit his own teammate, and that's what caused the initial thing. Woo Woo spawning in the middle of the road, and Neil Farmack gets involved again. Oh my word, this man cannot catch a break in LPB Racing. Meanwhile, Tim's done what Bidster and Neil did in race 1. I'm trying to think of the name. Bidster and Neil did in race 1, where he's actually gone straight to 5th place from starting at the back. Absolutely incredible. Meanwhile, Nifty Dark Ninja's taking the lead because Bert's in the pits. Drive through penalty for Bert. He must have gone over speed on the formation lap, because we have a formation lap that you can't see, but he must have gone over speed on that, and that's going to leave him right down at the back of the pack. So Nifty Dark Ninja leads a race in LPB Racing. He's leading in the Renault out front, but his teammate TY is all over the back of Pash. So Pash now under pressure from the second Renault behind him. He's putting him under pressure, but not quite close enough to start making a move just yet. Everyone else quite close down the pack as well. We've got Tim 4th, Blake 5th, Scott in 6th. Darren and Bidster very close together as well. Darren and Bidster close together as you go into the chicane as well. Into the chicane we go. Darren holding on to his 7th place, closing up on Scott there as well. So, Neil and Woo Woo have gone ahead of Bert, obviously, because he had that spin. Oh, no, not spin, but the incident on the formation lap. So he had a drive-through penalty. As we look at the corner, Pash is now right behind Nifty, and Nifty is under pressure from Nifty under pressure from Pash, and TY trying to pressure them both here into the right-hander 90-degree corner. Use the camber on the inside. A lot of camber in the corners at Watkins Glen, but also lots of adverse camber as well, which is opposite camber, which you get in this corner. You get camber on the inside, but if you go wide there as you go out the corner, turns to adverse camber or flat, and you've got to really avoid that wall on the outside. Gets very close, too close to comfort sometimes as well. Meanwhile, Bidster on the back of Darren. So Bidster then a lot closer to Darren in this race than it was in the last one, but right behind him, really right behind him now, trying to get away through. Darren defends the inside line, and Bidster goes right round the outside of him. It's almost like Darren gave up the place there, so Bidster moves up to 7th, and Darren probably letting Bidster go through. And There we go. Scott ahead in trying to catch Blake. Scott again having the car jumping in the air. Major connection problems, and that might explain why Darren let Bidster through. He says, "Well, you can deal with the laggy one, and I'll stay behind you." But Scott then struggling with his lag again, and I don't think he'll be racing next week unless he can get this sorted. We'll have to see what happens with that. But meanwhile, further up front, Nifty Dark Ninja in the lead, drifting his car around the corner. That's going to leave a door open for Pash if he's not careful. Round the corner we go. Nifty Dark Ninja then in the lead of the race, but he's got his teammate in third, and Pash right behind him, who's not his teammate in the McLaren, wanting that lead. Round the corner we go. Nifty Dark Ninja runs very wide. Pash gets right up behind him. Very close together. Nifty Dark Ninja holds the lead. Nifty holds the lead. Nifty, Pash, TY. And Pash goes to the inside, and Nifty runs wide. Pash to the inside, TY trying to get through, but no, he has to fall back in behind Pash. He might have a go into this next corner on the brakes. No, Ninja holds his ground. So Nifty holds his ground, and Pash still trying to get through behind him into the next corner. Into the left, Pash runs a bit wide there. That could help TY close up out the corner. I think they've tried different setups this time, the Renaults, and it's helped him. So they've tried, there's a loose and a stable option on the default setups, and they've gone for the stable option in this one. I think they were running the loose one in race 1, which didn't help them out, but in this one it's really helping them, because Nifty Dark Ninja is extending his lead now, pulls out a little gap on Pash, starting of lap 4, the gap is extended. Meanwhile, Blake, Scott and Bidster all together as well. There's Scott in the black McLaren, in the middle of the red and orange one. His teammate Bidster coming up behind him as well, as he runs very wide there. So does Bidster, but gets right back on it and has lost a bit of time there. So there is a difference between running wide and track limits, guys. So running wide is where you lose time, and track limits is where you run wide but you actually you actually gain time from doing it. So it's classed as a advantage. So we've got to be careful here as we go up to the chicane. There goes Scott through, Blake as well. Bidster closing up right to it behind his teammate now. Looks like Scott's car settled down a little bit now, just a little bit settled down. Oh, Tim's off! Tim's off! Tim's gone off. He's spun round. He's gone right back down to 10th place now. So Tim has had a massive off there somehow. We'll get a replay on that in a little while. But Tim goes back down to 10th place, and there's something wrong there as Bert goes through and lets his teammate go through, but Tim's had some kind of an off there. It looks very strange. We'll get that looked at in a little bit. But meanwhile, up front, Nifty Dark Ninja still holding his ground. Oh no, he's not. It's Pash in the lead. I thought it was Nifty, but it's not. I thought I saw the names, but no, sorry, my bad. But Pash takes the lead of the race. Nifty Dark Ninja down to 2nd place. TY right behind him. His teammate right behind him. So Pash takes the lead. Nifty must have made a mistake somewhere, or Pash just did a good move on him. We'll get that in the replays in a moment as well. But the news of the hour is that Pash in the McLaren is in the lead of the race. Nifty Dark Ninja is 2nd with his teammate right behind him, TY. Then we've got Bidster and Blake close together, 4th and 5th. Bidster's trying to catch Blake now, and he's Scott's gone down. Scott's gone down to 8th place as well, so that's changed as well. Scott's gone down to 8th. So Scott makes a mistake and down to 8th place into the first corner. Lag, little bits of lag every now and again. Woo-woo's behind him again now, so that could get fun. But yeah, all change and a lot happened there. And what we'll do is we'll get the replays clarified for you in a moment. But we've got Darren and Neil very close together. We'll just have a look at Darren and Neil into this next corner, and then we'll get the replays in for you. Into the chicane we go, and Darren holds on to his 6th place. So we'll just get those replays of the first half action in for you now. Here's the replays of the first half of the race. Okay, here's the first of the replays, and looking at what happened to Woo-Woo on lap 1. Here we go, he's about to lose control, hits the curb, spins out, hits the wall, and then Neil Farmack comes through, makes contact, and then they all start spinning. Neil Farmack spins, and everyone else tries to avoid as well, and that was absolutely insane. And then they both start recovering. Neil Farmack there recovering with Bidster just going through, so we'll get another angle on that for you now. Here's another angle on that now from on board with Bidster. See Woo there, spins in the middle of the track. Neil tries to avoid him, and then we have to brake because Neil's gone sideways. We keep to the side of the track, and Neil unfortunately just slides the car and hits Darren a little bit there, but that could have been a lot worse than that, so well done for everyone for having the reactions that they had. Okay, now here's a replay of Tim's mysterious off. We watch, here he goes into the corner, then all of a sudden the car just goes straight. And what happened there, guys, his controller had actually switched off. So his controller had actually just temporarily switched off, and then he's got it back going again, but now he's got to wait for the whole field to go past before he can get a gap. So Tim's controller disconnects and then reconnects, and then look, see there, it's disconnected again, then he's pressed it again. So that's why he keeps going straight, so his controller keeps disconnecting, and he's very lucky there to have his teammate avoid him, and then he gets going. And here's another replay just after we saw Tim spin. Watch this between Bidster and Scott as we go into the corner. Here we go into the corner, and Scott goes to the inside, then gets too much curve and then just sort of half spins the car. Bidster goes through, and then we rejoin with Scott. There goes Darren, and Neil goes through as well, or he tries to. He's trying to go through. There he goes to go through, and Scott goes down to 8th place. And now back to the race. As we come back from the replays, is Pash still in the lead of this race. Nifty Dark Ninja still in second, but he's now 3 seconds behind Pash, who's in the lead, so 2.5 to 3 seconds behind. And TY then might have to try and get past his teammate and see if he can catch the leader, but we'll have to see. But I think Pash has definitely got the pace here, but TY will not want to pass his teammate too much because TY is really just helping out for the manufacturer points here, as Nifty's trying to keep up his position in the driver's points. So we'll see what they choose to do here, but they've got to watch out because Bidster has passed Blake. Bidster has passed Blake into 4th place. Again, we'll get that clarified in a replay at the end as well, but Bidster and Blake then, they swap positions, and Bidster now released in 4th place. So let's see what he can do, and with the way he caught up the pack in race 1, we'll have to see what happens. Darren in, there's Scott going wide in the background. That was just a lag, I think, that's running in wide. Up over the curb, that's not a good line to do through there because Woo Woo's going to be right on the back of him if he's not careful. And there goes Blake into turn 1 in the red McLaren on his own this time, but his driver's points will be doubled to make the team points. So whatever driver points he gets, if he gets 30 driver's points, that'll be doubled, and it'll be 60 points that go towards the team standings because he's on his own for this one. You only get 1 per season where you get it doubled if your teammate doesn't arrive, but in the rest of them it's just you'll start to lose points. So it's quite a fair scheme. But as we go through the corner there, Woo Woo is catching up to the back of Scott, so we've got quite a few cars close together here. Some battles starting to develop as we go into the second half of this race. Darren ahead with Neil Farmack right behind him now. Neil Farmack right behind Darren. Into the corner and out of it. Down to the bottom of the hill, into the right-hander. Use the camber. Get the power on for the way out as it starts to level out and go up the hill. Get the power on. Wind the car up the hill. Meanwhile, further ahead, TY and Nifty Dark Ninja are still running in formation. Nifty Dark Ninja is still in 2nd place. And we'll have to look at the lap times this next time round to get a gauge on how fast Bidster's closing, because I know he is, but I'm not sure the rate he's doing it. But TY's got his lights on behind his team right now, so clearly trying to intimidate and trying to get past him, so we'll see what happens. But into the last corner we go. Pash goes across the line. Lap time this time is a 1:44.5. Nifty Dark Ninja comes across the line. He does a 1:45.7, 45.4 for TY, and it's a 44.2 for Bidster. So he is going faster by 1.3 seconds a lap at the minute, if he can keep up the current rate. So 1.3 seconds roughly faster than Nifty and TY. And that could spell the difference in the next few laps. We'll have to wait and see. But meanwhile, further back, we've got Blake with Darren and Neil Farmack right behind him as well. Neil Farmack going for a move on Darren down the inside. Oh, my word. Getting all kinds of squirm on the curb. Risky stuff from Neil, but he's through on Darren, unless Darren can hold on around the outside. I don't see him doing that. No, Neil goes through into 6th place. Darren has to go down to 7th, but a good move there from Neil, but a bit risky on the curb. That could have spelled even more disaster than it meant to start. But Scott goes through with Woo Woo in 9th place behind him, so Woo in 9th with Scott in 8th ahead of him. Darren's still not done with Neil Farmack yet, though. He's still sticking right on the back of the Acura, but Neil Farmack is probably going to try and keep his focus now on Blake ahead and try and ditch Darren if he can. Good little scrap this. It's about to become a three-way fight for 5th place here. Into the corner, everyone sort of trying to close up. Remember, racing isn't just about the battling, it's about the trying to get fast in the other cars. Scott goes off in the background, Scott goes off, and Woo Woo goes through on the inside of Scott round into the corner as the lag makes him go very close to the back of Woo Woo and makes him go off again. The lag will have probably made Scott's car hit the back of Woo Woo, and Scott goes ahead. Scott goes back, into 9th, and Woo Woo goes ahead into 8th place. I know what I'm saying. I know what I mean to say, guys. It's just the words aren't quite coming out of my mouth how I want them to sometimes, but we all do it every so often. So here we go then. Up over the start-finish line through turn 1, and it is Neil Farmack putting the pressure on Blake now. He has ditched Darren. Well, he's not ditched him because he's just there, but he's sort of left him a little bit, and Blake now goes wide. Neil goes for the gap on the outside, can't quite find it. He goes to the inside. Blake's defending, but Neil Farmack's trying to put his car down there. He can't fit a motorbike down there. What's he trying to do? Into the corner, he's going to have to back off, and Blake keeps position, but Neil Farmack was trying to open the door himself, but no, Blake was not having that. He was shutting that door well and truly on his foot, and that was never going to happen for Neil. So in my opinion, he should have gone the other way and then tried to get a good cut back into the chicane and get a good run out, but he's now not done himself any favours, and he's put himself back into the hands of Darren, who I'm sure will quite gladly try and scoop up another position. You go through the right-hander, the bank corner, up the hill, climb the hill, the horsepower, the 490 to 500 horsepower of these GT3 cars kicking in. Well, they all range from sort of 490 to sort of 530 horsepower, depending on the power and weight of the cars, but a lot of these cars in this one roughly around the 500 horsepower mark, but they are a bit lighter than the rest of the other ones. So for example, the BMW, the Bentley will be a bit more, and the Mercedes will be slightly more heavier cars, but they'll have a bit more power to them. So it just balances out on balance of performance. As Darren makes a big mistake in the background, a very big twitch there for Darren himself, and goes sort of a bit further back off the back of Neil Farmack. Let's catch up with the 2nd place battle then. It is still Nifty Dart Ninja ahead of TY, so TY looks like he's quite happy to sit there. Look at Bidster. Bidster's caught right up to him. Again, he's still going roughly a second a lap faster than the cars ahead, and he's now 6/10ths behind. And now the Renaults will start to feel the pressure of the orange McLaren catching them up. So Bidster wanting more places for the championship. He's still quite a little bit ahead of Neil Farmack. Oh, Nifty Dart Ninja, it begins with an N. Nifty Dart Ninja goes off and makes a mistake, cracks under the pressure, and eventually makes a mistake and goes back down to 4th place. Unlucky, because he was looking for his personal best finish in LPB racing, with it being a 2nd place, but unfortunately not meant to be, as he goes off. And now we witness the return of TY versus Bidster. The old dogs are back at it again, and I'm sure it will be good to see the two race properly here, with TY's connection holding up quite well. This should be a good one. So TY and Bidster back at it in LPB racing, and Bidster then trying to put the pressure on the Renault in front. TY covering for Growly Bear and doing a good job indeed for this round, and TY should be back next week. If Growly should be back next week, and TY will be back as an independent again. Or he might cover for another team if he needs to. But we'll see if everyone can make next week. But TY then and Bidster, they've got 2 laps, and it's about to get fierce. TY versus Bidster is on. Just before that gets into boiling point, or well, we'll just let it start to simmer, and we'll look back at the other guys. So Darren then in 7th. Woo Woo is 8th. There's still quite a few cars together here as well, which is quite good to see. Neil Farmack is just ahead with Blake as well. So Neil Farmack and Blake quite close together. They had a slight run in the first race, but all good. And Neil Farmack then looking to get past Blake as we go down the straight into the draft. looking for a way through. Blake defends the inside this time again, makes it clear. Neil goes to the outside and into the corner we go. And now contact between the two, but just I think Neil tried to run into the corner a bit too hot there, and then goes to the inside, tries to look for a way through. Blake goes wide, but again Blake holds on. So Neil Farmack not finding a way through, just getting a bit too aggressive there. I think just getting a bit too carried away, trying to get past Blake, but it's good entertainment for us to watch anyway. Through the corner we go. We'll go back to Bidster and TY now as we go up the hill. TY is ahead of Bidster still. Bidster still cannot find a way past TY. Finally got a good battle on track to get Bidster involved in and TY, which is good to see. But back here we've got Neil Farmack and Blake, and now Darren closing up to the back of Neil as well. Neil under pressure from the McLaren. He's got to look in his mirrors as well as look forward now. Penultimate lap of this race, and I don't want it to stop because it's a brilliant race this so far, but all the good things have to come to an end at some point. As we go to the last few corners, Bidster and TY, then back to Bidster and TY. Bidster getting a good run through the corner, trying to get a run on TY here. TY then goes defensive to the inside. Bidster tries to go with him but goes to the outside. TY and Bidster are at it again. Here we go down towards turn 1, last lap of this race. TY on the inside, defends the inside. Will he get a good run out of the corner? Bidster tries to get a cut back, and then nope, TY again covers him off. He knows what Bidster's going to do, so he covers him off, and now they are left together through the uphill section. Back to Neil Farmack, Blake and Darren, and it is Blake from Neil from Darren, still the same order, not changed there. Back to TY and Bids. Onto the straight, TY defends slightly, keeps the car in the middle of the road. He knows Bidster won't go to the inside here because it's not going to work. Into the chicane, and TY actually pulls out a bit of a gap there. Good chicane there from TY, but Bidster trying to catch up on the outside of the corner, trying to do what he can. Nifty Dark Ninja trying to catch up to these two, but not happening at the minute. Bidster still behind TY. Further back, we've got Neil Farmack right behind Blake still. Neil Farmack and Blake close together. Blake under pressure from the Acura and the other silver McLaren of Darren behind him as well. One mistake and he'll probably actually lose 3 places because Woo went far behind these lot as well. Into the uphill section, into the hairpin. Looks like nothing's going to change there yet so far. Neil trying to close up to the back of Blake here, but TY and Biz are still at it out front as well. They're into the last few corners and they are looking, TY's looking a bit more safe now, but you've got Blake defending from Neil Farmack. Blake defends the inside from Neil into the right-hander. Neil gets right behind him and Darren closes up as well, trying to go to the inside. Blake defends again. Neil Farmack through on the outside, no, can't do it, and he tries to cut back for the inside, but no way through there. Pash wins the race though. We've not seen him all race, but that's because he's been out front. Pash, fantastic win for him. And Bidster and TY, it's going to be TY who holds on, puts Bidster back in his place, schools him, saying I'm back and I mean business. Second place for TY, third for Bidster, Nifty in 4th. Blake holds on to 5th, and Neil Farmack is back down in 6th with Darren behind him in 7th. What a finish. Woo Woo in 8th. Scott is going to be 9th. That was a fantastic race. Tim in 10th after the spin earlier on, and Bert unfortunately at the back, so we've gone from a 1-2 to a 10-11. Not what they want for that team. Fantastic race by everyone there, and we will now just get the replays in of the second half and the results, and I'm going to have a lie down. Here's the replays of the second half of the race. Okay, now here's a replay of how Bidster passed Blake. Oh, see there, Blake breaks very, very early into the corner, and Bidster carries the speed and passes him round the outside. Epic move from Bids, but Blake did give him the opportunity because he braked very early for the corner. That was the one and only replay from the second half, and now we go to the results from the race. So it is Pash who takes victory. Well done to Pash. He wins the race. Well done to him. TY in second in the Renault. Then it is Bidster third in the McLaren. We've got Nifty in 4th in the Renault. Good position for him. Blake in 5th. Then we've got Neil Farmack in 6th position, if we just go over the page. And then it's Darren in 7th. We've got Woo Woo in 8th position with Scott in 9th. We've then got Tim in 10th position with Bert unfortunately finishing in 11th, and also a 10-second penalty to boot as well, but that won't take effect. So as you come back from that, then your winner there is Pash. Well done to Pash in the silver McLaren there. Fantastic win for him, and that'll be some good points on the board for Team Dash, because with Darren in 7th, that's not a bad haul for the points for the teams as well. So we will see you guys next time for race 3 around Watkins Glen again, for hopefully some more of the same action. We'll see you next time, guys. Take care. Thank you all for watching that race around Watkins Glen. We really hope you all enjoyed that one. Don't forget to like and subscribe to LPB Racing for more amazing videos in the future. And next time it's going to be the GT3 Sprint Series Race 3 of round 4 from Watkins Glen. We'll see you then, guys.